As I was working today, God have such a sense of humor, y'all. I love it. He will always bring something back to your remembrance of what he did like that. So, years ago, when I turned my life back over to Christ and I was just like a baby being reborn as a Christian, right? And I was building my faith up. I was that one, like, okay, God, if you could do this, prove it. If you could do that, prove it, as any child would do to a parent, right? So I remember one day, I used to love to go play bingo. And when I had my first apartment, I went one night knowing I had to pay my rent that Friday, and it was on a Wednesday. And I went to try to double the money, to just have extra after I paid my rent, because the rent was gonna take my whole check. So I went to try to double it, end up losing everything. All right. So I called my grandmother, the lady that prayed for me throughout my whole lifetime and still praying for me. The woman who raised me to be the man I am today. So called her. I'm like, Grandma, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm short on my rent money, and she said, well, baby, she said, just pray. Go in prayer and ask God to, bless you some type of way. Send a blessing some type of way. Put it on somebody's heart to bless you. Give the amount you need and believe in prayer, and you will receive. I said, yes, ma'am. So that night, I went down in prayer crying before God, knowing what I've done to cause that on myself. But God's grace is sufficient. His grace and His mercy is sufficient. He don't treat us as our sins deserve. So, went to sleep that night, and it's Thursday. And I'm like, Grandma, I don't hear nothing yet, She said, well, baby, keep the faith. God go provide. I said, all right. So, later that day, the mail ran. Had a check from Walmart. And this the crazy part. It said, we owe you this. And this is the crazy part too. It was the exact amount of what I needed to pay my rent. So as I was working, God brought that back to my remembrance. And to prove that He's still that same God back then, anything He did back then, He can do it now. So I say that to say this. Remember on them times where your back was against the wall and God stepped in for you. He's that same God that can do it again. Don't lose faith and don't doubt God. He specializes in the impossible. So whatever you put in His hands, whatever it is, believe and you shall receive. God bless you.